Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to go into our menus and set some things up. And so if you don't see the menu, what you're going to do is you're going to hit this obviously menu button, and we're going to go through and set up some things, including some of our camera settings, which are going to be in red, some of our sort of functions, including sensor cleaning and formatting the card, which is going to be in the yellow wrench shape, and then we're going to talk about how to and where to set your white balance. If you have a Sony or another camera, there's going to be these options for the most part in most of your cameras. You're just going to have to hunt through the menus. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit menu, and I'm going to go into image quality, and you're going to see that I have the option to select all of these L, M, and S's. Those are going to be JPEG formats, and we're not going to shoot in the compressed JPEG format in order to sort of take advantage of our photographs and take advantage of what we're doing in this class. We're going to shoot in the raw file format, and I'm going to sort of suggest that you don't shoot the raw plus large JPEG format, because I do think that it just gets more confusing because you have two images that look the exact same with the exact same file number, but a different extension. It'll be a .cr2 or a .arw and a .jpeg. And so I tend to sort of, once I shoot in RAW and once I do RAW, I stay in RAW. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. The next thing that I'm going to do, and I sort of suggest that you go through and sort of figure out some of these things. Maybe you're going to want to turn the beep off or on your camera, and that's going to be up to you. I'm just going to go through the ones that I want you to set for this class. So I'm also going to go into color space, and this won't matter really when I shoot in RAW, but in case I'm doing video, I just want to make sure I'm in an Adobe RGB color space. That's going to give me a wider gamut of colors. I also, again, not going to be so important with the raw functions, but in the picture style, I want to make sure that that is selected to neutral. Again, that's more of a video thing, or if I have to shoot JPEGs for, my aunt's, wedding celebration, and she just wants to upload it to Facebook, and I don't want to edit anything. I also am going to then make sure that my metering mode is set at evaluative. There's a couple other reasons. You can maybe do partial metering or center weighted average. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but where I want you to start is evaluative metering mode, okay? Now, once I go through, and you're going to see there's these other different options, and again, go ahead and get yourself familiar with those, but I'm going to go out of menu now, and I'm going to go into WB or white balance, and the two settings that I want you to use is I want you to use the daylight or the sunshine icon when you're outdoors in natural light. If you go inside and it's nighttime, or you're in your cousin's basement listening to their death metal band, what I want you to select is I want you to select the light bulb or the tungsten white balance. We can talk about some of these other settings a little bit later on. Maybe you're like, oh, I just want to use auto white balance. But I tend to like to start with the tungsten or the daylight. I grew up shooting color film, so there were two options. There were color film temperatures that were daylight balanced and tungsten balanced, so that's just where I'm at. I do want to sort of realize that this is my favorite of all of the camera settings, which is shade or the shady house. I just love it. Not really going to ever select that, but there it is. I also want you to be aware back in the menu setting that on these yellow wrenches that there are these other options to make selections. And so if I need to erase all of the images on my card, I don't want to go in and one by one erase the images. I want to make sure that I've downloaded the files, I've backed them up, that they're on my hard drive and possibly another place. And then I want to format my card every time I get done shooting, so I erase all of the images from session to session to session. And then just so that you know that there is also on some of these cameras a sensor cleaning function. So if you get a little bit of dirt or some dust or some schmutz on your sensor, what it's going to do is it's going to gently vibrate your sensor to try and dislodge that. It doesn't always work, but I just wanted to show you where that's at. Once I get that ready, I'm pretty much ready to shoot.